Hello and welcome to the 17th Annual GPCA Forum, taking place for the very first time in Qatar National Convention Center here in Doha. My name is Aseel Masoudi, and I'm a member of the Youth Council in GPCA, as well as the business partner for Commercial Downstream in OQ, and I'll be your host for today. The annual GPCA Forum this year is being held under the theme, Mobilizing Chemistry for Impactful Transformation. Over the next few days, we'll hear insightful inputs from perspectives from industry leaders, global and regional experts, leading technology providers, and last but not least, the regional youth. Joining me on the special edition of the annual GPCA Forum TV and podcast is Mr. Surendra. He's the founder and chairman of the Belgium-based recycling company, Gemini Corporation. He has been serving the corporation for 35 years. Gemini gives a second life annually to 2 million tons of scrap across 60 countries, including 500,000 tons of plastics. Welcome. We're so happy to have you with us today. If you allow me, we'll dive straight into the first question. What does Gemini Corporations do on the plastic recycling front?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking interest in plastic recycling. I believe media is to take a lot of interest because there is so much ignorance about plastic waste in the world. Would you believe that the world generates almost 1 million tons of plastic waste and less than 10% is recycled? And in next 30 years, this is going to become triple, 3 million tons. And with this speed, there would be 12 billion tons of plastic waste around us on this earth, something our grandchildren would never forgive us for. At this rate, there would be more plastics than the fish on the seas. There would be plastics everywhere. So thank you so much for bringing out the issue of plastic waste in the media. Another revolution, the plastic recycling is going down, something people don't understand, don't digest. There have been so many talks, discussion, debates on plastic waste. Despite these debates, the global plastic recycling is going down, and many people refuse to believe this. I'm so happy that we are on part of this world where we can make some difference. And with this objective, I started the company Gemini in 1989. And as far as the relationship of plastic with Gemini is concerned, it was right from the day one. I started with one truckload, one employee, and this journey has been very exciting. At that time, I did not know the word sustainability. I didn't know the word circularity. And my family was not so happy that I'm in the waste business. They say this business is for people who do not have respectable character. And my grandfather said, if I made money, he would think I made money by cheating people. I wish he was alive. The world has changed so much. We are respected with open arms. And along the journey, during this exciting journey, I've been able to give my views in World Economic Forum. By the way, we were lucky. Day for yesterday, we got the second award from World Economic Forum.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you so much. But we have got many awards, many recognition, but now we have to do work. But we are linked with the Alliance to End Plastic Waste. It's a CEO-led organization, very important. And now we are linked with the UN Plastic Treaty. So all in all, Gemini has been linked with the plastic right from day one. One very important point I want to share, that the plastic is a social issue. It's not an environmental issue. There are 15 million rag pickers, waste pickers, who are in this business of plastic waste. And with that objective, we started giving some help, free baling machines to the waste pickers in India in exchange for their commitments, no child labor. They would be paid through banking channels, and they have to be registered with the authorities and certain quantity at market value. They gave the commitment, but when in the initial period when we went to check their premises, there were children working. And then we realized that they have nothing else to do after the school, so we gave them televisions, we gave them the games. So the point I want to make, the plastic waste issue is not only an environmental issue, it's a social issue. And we are so happy that by changing the lives of these rag pickers, we are making the world a better place to live.
And I'd like to thank you as a member of the youth for making this initiative and creating such an amazing corporation. Leading to our next question, what is your vision for the circular economy, having global experience? And how is the GCC positioned to make the circular economy a reality?
Well, I always say waste is not a waste until it's wasted. We must ensure every piece of waste is reutilized, used again. We are using the word as if there is no tomorrow. We need 1.7 times the earth every year to do what we are doing every year in the consumptions. So circularity has to go up for sure. I'm so happy to see today's presentation. Every speaker today in GPCA talked about circularity, about sustainability. Practically every speaker, I thought this was a conference more on sustainability and recycling rather than the prime materials. So GPCA is doing quite a lot by bringing the awareness that there is something which we need to do. And I'm so happy about it. But besides that, they should take some other actions. They should do fiscal incentives to the people who are newly employed, young people who are employed in this, special tax concession, special incentives. Government should give priority to those goods which are made from recycled material. Fiscal incentive in the form of depreciation allowance. Some other things they can do to promote circularity is you must have a sorting of the waste at home. This would increase the recycling circularity by 13 times. And last, I'm happy that my son Kunal has got chairmanship of Circularity Task Force in Dubai COP with powerful powerhouses from GCC, from the CEO of Mrs. Rustami from First Middle East Bank, then the CEO of Dubai Airport, then you have the CEO of Investcorp. I think there's a tremendous amount of interest in GCC towards circularity, which I'm very happy about.
So am I. So how do you view extended producer responsibility? What are its benefits and potential challenges, in your opinion?
One of the reasons plastic waste recycling is not doing well because there is no collection. And there is nobody who's willing to pay for collection. Somebody has to pay it, whether you like it or not. You can call it a plastic tax or levy or EPR fees. I believe this is one of the mechanisms which looks fair to the consumers. The polluter pays principle. If you pollute the world, you pay for it.
Correct.
So it would not look unfair to the public, to the people, to the producers. I believe this is something we have to take it very vigorously. This looks to me the most plausible solutions, because when you start paying for your pollution, everybody starts taking interest in it. Now, what are the challenges which I see? First, the fees should equal to the cost of collection and sorting. In some country, because of the duplications of EPR certificates, the fees are so low, it doesn't even cover the cost of half the time the collection. For example, in India, this EPR is being sold for $10. In Europe, it's $200 per ton. So it has to be corresponding to the cost of collection and sorting. And the second thing, I would like that the governments enforce it very strictly. But this is something which is very good step because it's more of an inclusive as well. If you really follow the EPR principle, the funds, the fees would go to the rag pickers, waste pickers eventually, and that's good for the society.
I completely agree. I'm very interested for your answer to the next question. What should the industry do to address climate change in your view?
I would make it brief. Put a price on carbon. I think the world has to realize that if we do not take actions, there would be fire, there would be floods, there would be droughts, there would be sea level rising. You would see vast migration of people. These are unthinkable things you don't want to have. How do you avoid it? Again, polluter pays the principle. If you are making the world a worse place, you pay for it. And how do you pay? Carbon price. Hold them accountable, carbon pricing. And secondly, let the young people like you be made aware that you have to take a lead. We take the word granted. But if you start pushing for your own sake, because the world is going to be yours in next 20, 30, 50 years, you need to take the lead. But this is a thing you cannot avoid it. You have to do it. And the last important for the young people, when I attend conferences, I have come to know $100 trillion would move to the business related to climate change in next 30 years. You couldn't find a better opportunities than this.
Capitalize on that moment for sure. What is the role of sustainability and transformation in securing the industry's future?
I think industry has to realize that the word sustainability has become so important, so essential for their survival that they cannot live without. But at the same time, they have to balance the requirements. For instance, here I have been hearing for sustainability, for transformations, you should reduce the consumption of plastics. I don't think that's the answer convenient for both developing and developed world. In developing countries like India, Brazil, Oman, for instance, we need plastics for our food freshness, for economy of fuel consumptions, for irrigations, for medical care. They have been using only 15 kg per capita per year as opposed to 100 kg per capita in the other developed world. So it's not fair in the name of sustainability to ask them to reduce the production of new plastics. So we have to see different regions from a different lens. So I advocate sustainability, transformation, but do it depending on the reason you are there from.
Completely agree. Leading on to our last question, how have you found the forum this year? Do you have any top takeaways that really stood out to you?
Well, I'm amazed at the interest on sustainability and on circularity. To be honest, it's unbelievable to me, somebody who has been in this business for almost whole of my life, and somebody who never felt that kind of interest, respect, acceptability in the initial period. And when you suddenly see wave of respect, honor, being looked upon so well, you are overwhelmed. And this is what I see in the GPCA. This is my third GPCA meeting, and every time I come, sometime I wonder, have I come in a conference of sustainability or plastic production responsibility? Thank you, GPCA, for bringing it out. And obviously, this is going to do good not only to me, to the industry, but to the entire next generations. This is something people have to realize. And if somebody is a pioneer, forerunner in giving out this information like GPCA, I think the youth of this area would be much more knowledgeable about what's going to happen to their future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Surendra, for all your inputs. I feel like I'm going to leave this interview re-energized to, number one, advocate for sustainability, educate the youth to come, and the fact that you've mentioned that we're really focusing on sustainability and circularity. I'd also like to bring to your attention that for the first year ever, GPCA has a sustainability district booth dedicated purely to all the initiatives happening within GPCA members. So when you have the chance, take a look at that. And thank you so much for your time. It's really been an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Ms. Aseel. I'm so happy to be part of this podcast and the video presentation. This is going to make a difference in the lives of some of the people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All the best.